On to Andre 3000.
Oh yeah.
Now, I think my scores on this one may be, man, they were more elevated than I thought they were going to be, but I think we might be in line on this one. I don't know.
No, I mean we have to be fair with it. I just docked him where it was fair at, and I'm going to explain why. But go ahead.
Mark Wright said, I agree with Mike. Legacy 10, they worship him. That's what I've seen. And Mark's from the BX. Shout out to Mark out there, my man. All
But I
right.
mean, hold on. But worship him where?
That's the thing. And somebody said that in the chat too. He's a New York legend. And so
Right.
if
So if
this
they
was
worship
just based on New York, 10. But we got to think about everybody. So,
right. So I'm about to say if they repping them like that in Uptown, they should. If the rest of like the boroughs are, probably should as an MC because his weight is like that. You know who he really is to me? Like, always thought him in AZ.
yeah, he said the underground scene swears by Big L, as they do AZ. Can't wait till we
Oh,
get
wow.
to him.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get to Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Lyrics, I gave him a 10.
Yep.
Voice, I gave him a 9.
Voice, I gave him a 10.
And you know what? And the only reason why, because I had a 10 there and I took it off and went 9. And the only reason why I did that is
Fine.
because I don't like when he does that talking rap shit that he does. You know what I mean? Where it's like he's talking. And you know what I mean? But we talking about Andre's rap voice on like a Bonds Over Bad Dad or on a Red Velvet or something like that, where he's like Don was the one who came in contact and those the slow crows who come to sell crack. When he's rapping like that, that's a 10. But when he's rapping like that talking rap shit that he does, I gave him a 9. Cause he's been doing a lot of that as of the past 15 years.
9.5. I'll meet you in the middle.
Okay, I mean, I like I said, I had 10, so I ain't mad at that. Okay,
Okay, we can leave it at 10. But I get what you're saying.
delivery's a 10.
I I got his delivery at a 9, and I'm gonna tell you why, because it kind of goes back to what you say. It's like, well, how much of that is a rap delivery, and how much of you is actually singing?
Hmm.
Hmm. Is your
Okay,
rap
it's the
delivery a 10?
consistency in the delivery. I see what you're saying. Once
Oh,
again, like what I said
right.
with the voice.
Right. That's what I
But
was about to say.
see,
That's
but
why I
that's
was cool with going down
versatility.
on the voice, because I'm like, well, delivery wise, I'm about to go in to some of that sing songy stuff about why I'm not giving them a 10. That's why I was like, no, I'm cool if we go down to 9 and 9.5.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
what
I think
actually
those
to
two
be
things.
consistent.
I think
I'm about
those
to
two
say to be
things balance each
consistent.
other out. Yeah.
Okay.
But they
Yeah.
add to his versatility. Yeah.
True. Okay.
All right. So storytelling. I gave him a 9.
I gave him an 8. Not enough evidence to give him a 9 or a 10.
The evidence that we do have. Great
The evidence
story.
we have is great. It's brief. So
Jordan
it's an
House
8.
says y'all got to peep that December remix. I remember that December remix when I went and looked for it. It's like 5 years old. I checked it out. Yeah,
Hold on, because I want you to understand something. Like for me, and I'll just tell people, and Mike, and you know, like we kind of run everything through each other. Oh, I came up with this second 10 list. Like you came up with the first 10 pretty much, and I came up with the second 10 pretty much. And I intentionally put him right here after Big L and Big Pun and before Most Def, because you can't talk about the brevity of Pun and L and Most and then give him high marks when there's not enough evidence for those guys, and those guys are in his stratosphere. So that's why I gave him a 8 for storytelling, because he has more evidence than Pun and L, which is why I gave them 7s and gave him an 8, but not much more, not to the level of 9.
Someone in the chat said I knew exactly what they were gonna say. A day in the life of Andre 3000.
Right, but that's one record. That's not enough evidence to give him a 9 or a 10.
The art of storytelling.
No, that's part of why he has an 8, specifically those two records.
So what you're saying is, when he does tell a story, it's at 10 level. He just doesn't have enough
How,
stories.
how many does he have? What name the other stories that you can think of?
Okay, I'm going through the albums in my head right now. So, what are the stories on Southern Playalistic? Are
I think
there?
the story on Get Up, Get Out, that's
Y'all
the
telling me
story.
that I need to get out and vote? I don't think that's really a
Right,
story.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's kind of story-ish. Claiming True. Is that a story?
I don't think so.
Hootie Who? Hootie Who's a story?
It is. Yeah,
Hootie Who?
yeah. Hootie Who is a story.
Yeah,
It's
Hootie
a
Who.
pretty dope one too.
No, it's pretty great.
Um,
Hootie Who.
and I'm just saying on
On ATLiens, where's the story? What's the story? You get what I'm saying?
Got stopped at the mall the other day. Heard a call from the other way.
That's a story. We can call that a story. But that's what I'm saying. You see how brief it is? We got one on one album on the first album. We got one on the second album. We got one on the third album.
Well, I think the art of storytelling, too. He probably told more stories on the Kumina. Twice upon a time, there was a boy who died but lived happily ever after. That's another really chapter. It's not really a story.
More it's
introspective stuff.
It's an introspective diatribe about the Black experience. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Ray Rim to the super chat. Let me get to this and we'll get back to the list. Ray Rim says the list is an arduous undertaking. I agree. It would be harder to make an inarguable hip hop Hall of Fame list. You two brothers would most be suited to do it. Yes, I appreciate it. We're doing it together. When it comes to the group here, everybody's putting together this grand old list. All right, I'm with you on the 8 because it's just not enough evidence, and I think you made a really good point. Rosa Parks is a story. He did his best storytelling on Akumanai, but again, that's why Akumanai is held so high, in my opinion. That is his best performance, and it's one of the best performances from anybody on an album.
But almost all his great stories are on Akumanai. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's about 3 or 4 stories. Because think about it, Mamacita's a story too.
It is.
No, he's great on there.
Paragraph and dent. I'm making 10 cents. Niggas on that Gil Scott. That's introspective, but he's painting pictures on Akumanai.
No, that's y'all scared that you're talking
about.
No.
I'm just going to a whole nother one.
Right,
and Spodioti is a story.
Right. No, so he's there. But it's like
I don't know, man. I mean, Akumanai alone is making the argument, but I feel what you're saying.
No, it's not. Because here's what I'm about to tell you. Now tally up all those verses and tell me how many songs worth of storytelling we have, and I'm gonna tell you why he has an 8. Because if you tally those verses up, it's only about 2 or 3 songs worth of stories. Now,
Spody is a great story.
How many verses is it? Hold on. Let's go ahead and break it down. He's got 2 verses on Hootie Hoo, right? Yeah. That 1 verse on Elevator. So
only one of those Hootie Hoo verses is a story, though.
So he's got 2 verses so far between 2 albums that are storytelling. Then we get to Aquemini. Okay? How many verses on Aquemini are storytelling verses?
We're really going to do this, huh? Okay.
Yeah, we are. Because
I guess we got to do this. Rosa Parks.
This is what this
honestly,
is.
The common denominator, the nigga numerator, never know who the hate the niggas cater to your ego. I'm sorry, like I said. Now, that doesn't become a story until the end. Yeah, it's like halfway through the Skewed on the Barbie verse is a story.
Rosa Parks is a story. Skewed on the Barbie verse is him being introspective and putting it together in story format halfway into the rhyme scheme.
Okay. Aquemini, you're not going to take that as a story.
It's not.
Then we're going to Synthesizer is not a story. He took breaks on West Savannah Slump, so we got the art of storytelling. And then we got the art of storytelling too, which is a story. Mamacita's a story. Spody's a story, and that's it.
So that's how many 5 verses? That's 5?
5 stories on Akumanai.
Great stories. That's 5. No. That's 5 verses in story format.
Okay.
And on.
I see what you're doing here.
You get what I'm saying?
International Players Anthem.
Okay, that's that. Okay, so right now we're at 7 storytelling verses. International Players Anthem makes 8. He's got 8 storytelling verses, and y'all want to give him a 9 or a 10? Now, is that fair to the other people in the stories? And think about all the stories Ghostface has told, and tell me that that's fair to give him a 9 or a 10.
On verses, yeah, you're right. I mean, I agree with you.
All of these verses, hold on, are the verses a 10? Oh yeah. Is the work there? Oh no, not for a 10 or a 9. Because how can we not give it to Pun or L?
Tom Annette says exactly what you. Well, he said, how does Big L a 7 for stories, and Andrè is an 8? At least a 9. No. So I would go at least a 9.
No. L has whole stories on his solo album and on his posthumous project, and actually has storytelling ability. Like Life is Like a Dice Game comes to. Hold on, no. What is it?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. No. L's a storyteller.
Yeah. Jay Short says, shout out to Big Boy. Yes, shout out to the great Big Boy. All right, we got some more, and we're gonna get Big Boy on here too. Let's not
And it's an 8. It's not like we're pissing on him. He got an 8 for storytelling. Like, let's see the people so far that got more than an 8 for storytelling. J. Cole, Conway, Kendrick, Nas. Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Hold on.
I think he's a better storyteller. He just doesn't have enough.
Right. Rakim and KRS-One got an 8 for storytelling.
Okay.
Hold on. Did Andrè make Mahogany or Love's Gonna Get You?
Well, that's a fact, because Love's Gonna Get You is great.
All right.
Okay. Let's go to catalog of albums. I gave him an 8.
Nope. I gave him a 5. Because his catalog with his group is a 10.
That's that's the thing.
His solo MC catalog is a 0. And so if you put those two together, you have a 5. Because how can we give his catalog of albums an 8? His catalog of albums?
I see what you did. You gave Outkast a 10. And then you cut that in half because he has 0.
5.
Well, he has had, and the people in the chat are saying you're bugging, but the truth of the matter is, he is half of Outkast. So and if Outkast is a 10, and
no, Big Boy gets an 8. No, Big Boy gets an 8 because Big Boy has solo albums and the Outkast material. He has Outkast material. Show me the solo rap material that y'all are talking about.
Let's do the math here. They want me to mute you, but let's do the math here. Look,
okay.
Outkast is a 10.
Outkast is a 10.
Outkast is a 10. There's 2 members in Outkast, right? You divide that 10 by 2, you got 5. Then we're gonna add in the solo stuff, which is 0. 0 plus 5 is 0.
Can we talk about why there's no solo stuff though? Like, what are y'all ranking? Because hold on, because if you're ranking, because
you're not gonna give him at least 1 point for the life in the day in the life of Andre 3000.
Kick rocks.
And what about for the features? Nah, man, come on, we got to at least do 7. What about international players anthem? So okay, let's just say the Outkast gives him a 5.
Collaborations is right after that. You're talking about collaborations, which actually I gave him a 10 for. But that catalog of albums, he's getting the 5.
Oh yeah, because those aren't his albums. So we're not gonna count Love Below as
Does he have? Hold on. How many solo rap albums has he made? I want all the people who muted me to tell me how many solo rap albums he's made. I'll wait. Okay. Now that we've got that over with, everything that we're talking about in his catalog is attached to somebody else, and I'm starting to realize the other person wrote most of the hits. Want to start? Let's start. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too, rolling down the strip on Vogues, coming up slamming Cadillac doors. Does that sound like Andre or does that sound like Big Boy?
The Rap Roundtable's in the building. They said give him a 6.5.
Let's keep going. No, let's keep going. Aha. Hush that fuss. Everybody move to the back of the bus. Do you want to bump and slump with us? We the type of people make the club get crunk. Does that sound like Big Boy or does that sound like Andre? I'm not done yet. Do you like fish and grits and all the pimp shit? Does that sound like Andre or does that sound like Big Boy when y'all are out here rating these Outkast albums? I'm not giving this I'm so sick of this mother.
Okay. All right.
What rap roundtable say 6.5? That's fine. 6.5.
6.5. Let's settle with a 6.5.
Oh, a nigga with no rap solo.
No solo material.
No. I want you to understand. We're handing out 6.5 for niggas without any solo rap albums. Okay, next.
For catalog of albums. You know what? Listen. I love 3000. He was my favorite rapper growing up. But we have to understand, everybody on this list has a solo rap album. So he kind of does have to get the business for not having that.
Hold on. Matter of fact, when you said that, I'm taking that 0.5 off.
Yeah, I'm okay with the 5, to be honest, because everybody on this list
has a solo album. Right, 5.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Because he's going to get high marks in other places. So
it's so problematic. That's why I'm saying, no, 5.
Yeah, because there's not a single person that we're about to document. Maybe Lauren, and she might get the same you know, whatever. But she got rap songs. He has
has
no
solo rap
solo
songs.
album, and he will be the only person on this list, Coop, that does not have a single song where it's just him and 3 verses.
Because Lauryn Hill has that.
She does. She
And I
has
interest
she
you
has a
in the
few of
final
those.
hour
Yeah.
or doo-wop. Or how about that whole Fade Lost Ones?
Yeah.
I don't even know. How about this? I'll be talking about The World Is Yours and One More Chance, and I'll be there for you in Mahogany. We don't know if he can make a Lost Ones.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, 5. And that's only because Outkast catalog is a 10.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. Wow, that was fun. Collaborations. I gave him a 9.
I gave him a 10.
Okay.
When has he not destroyed it?
You know what? The reason why I went 9 is because of how selective he is with his collaborations.
Who's being picky now?
I'm just saying. You know, because you have situations where Big Boy, he'll just jump in. He jumped in and made that song with Slick Rick. Slick Rick clearly thought that both of them were going to be on the record, but they weren't.
Slick Rick and Outkast is on this.
Yeah. Big Boy like, yo, just give me the mic, man. I'm going to go in and do my thing. He didn't show up on, at least Big Boy showed up on Goody Mob's World Party on Get Rich to This.
Don't give me a reason to dock a mic. We're going down to 9. Next.
I'm just saying.
I'm cool with that. It's not like he raps enough for us to defend him. Right. Next.
Longevity of records, I gave him an 8.
I gave him a 9 because it's Outkast.
Because it's Outkast,
yeah. The records, yeah.
Well, we've talked about this before, and in relationship with Tribe, I just feel like when I listen to Tribe's records, they've aged better than Outkast records, and that's just me talking. Like, I just feel like that. But I'm not mad at the 9.
Q-Tip is more of a specialist in your classic traditional hip hop boom bap, even though jazz influence, so it's going to tend to hold up over time, a la Illmatic, a la the Infamous, a la the Low End Theory. Like there's a boom bap quality to it that for hip hop aesthetics holds up well. Okay. Outkast hip hop is more of an interpretation of it, and probably the most wonderfully done one, but not built on the same core aesthetics. ATLian is the closest thing to it.
I give you 9 on that. Longevity of career, I gave him a 7.
You gave him a 6.
I'm not mad at that.
Shouldn't be. You don't be rapping.
Competitive environment, or that has to be 9 or 10.
I gave him a 10.
Okay. Because I went 7 because I'm still on the battle tested thing, but that's
I give him a 10 on competitive rap time. Yep.
Legacy, I give him a 10.
I gave him an 8. Because
really?
His legacy can't be a 10 without what?
This is the thing, Coop.
Solo.
His legacy, for whatever reason, as an individual, and I could go on a whole diatribe about this, has superseded the brand of Outkast, has it not? If you ask,
superseded the actual work.
I agree, but we look. You dock Nas for what people say in the media. When you look at the media, they talk about Andre 3000 like he's an individual act. If you ask people on a massive level, would they rather hear a new Andre 3000 album or a new Outkast album? People would say Andre 3000. Unfortunately.
Mike, you're right. They talk about him as if he's had Nas's solo career.
Yeah. And Rap Roundtable says what I was gonna say. It said the legacy is kind of overrated by the culture. His legacy is overrated. That's why it's a 10, I think. His legacy is strong.
But it's not right, though.
Doesn't mean that Nas wasn't right either.
And I corrected it and put a 10 down.
Donnell Lee says, Mike, we need that Cass versus Tribe versus. I got Cass. I think we did that in one of our earlier shows. We can update that. I still got the list.
I'm about to say, I would probably want to redo it now.
Yeah. We should do that.
Did I take Outkast?
You took Outkast and I took Tribe.
So problematic now.
Yeah.
So what are we doing with this legacy thing? Back to 9?
Okay, I'll back down to 9, even though I think his legacy is... So, they follow this man around where he's playing the flute and the clarinet in airports, man. Like,
This is the hardest 10 to give. No, we got to give him a 10. It's just so.
It's just what it is. Like,
I earned that though.
And it's one of the things that we're mad about when the fact that Big Boy comes out with stuff, and there's so many things that because of his aura that he can help get behind, but he doesn't.
I just like men who go to work about their job. That's all.
Okay.
I just like people who go to work. You know.
Live performance, I gave him a 9.
Gave him a 7.
What? No. Are you giving him a 7 because he doesn't stand on? Ooh. Okay. All right.
Right.
With Outkast, it's that 9.
Right.
But you're right. He does pull the stage fright thing.
Mm-hmm. And when's the last time you actually seen him perform like anything solo from his one solo R&B album?
Well, I will add some context to that too. He refused to tour for the Love Below. Big Boy and he missed out on a whole lot of money because he didn't want to perform. Remember that? They were going to give them $100,000 each. This is way back in the day. He declined the tour.
A show. $100,000.
One show.
Yeah.
So we could go up there and do something that we would do for free back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Yeah.
Jay Short with the super chat, he says, keep it a buck, Eminem was the first to separate Outkast until I collapsed. That is interesting. That is interesting. He was one of the first to separate them.
Very insightful.
Very insightful.
I like that.
I would love to blame Eminem for it as well. Whatever.
Very probably.
Okay, content, I gave him a 10. Intangibles, I gave him a 10.
Hold on, content, you gave him a 10?
Yeah.
I gave him a 9.
His lyrical content's on point.
It is, but once again, how much of that content belonged to him and how much of that he piggybacked off of? I feel like most of that is piggybacked, so I took a point off for it because I feel like the content that you're talking about, I feel like most of it belongs to Big Boy because I hear Big Boy now.
I don't know.
I can't give him a 10 for content.
I feel like, and I will say this.
Their biggest hits are Big Boy. Think about this. Miss Jackson, So Fresh, So Clean, Rosa Parks, Southern Playalistic, AT-Aliens, Elevators. Those all sound like Big Boy records now that Andrè jumped on and rapped on.
But that's fine. But one thing I will give Andrè, and especially in the songs that you mentioned, he took those concepts and took them somewhere else with his individual verse. Like what he did with Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks could have been something else, you know what I mean? But he took those themes somewhere else, just like he did with International Players Anthem. He took that theme and he took it somewhere else.
You want to know what he does? He takes whole hoedowns and he makes them thoughtful and introspective. Thought Process, International Players Anthem, Aquemini, Rosa Parks, that's great. But he's not the author of the idea, so 9.
He is the author of his idea on there.
That's beautiful, because somebody got to feed him some ideas to get him to want to rap, is my point. So we're not giving him a 10.
I think you're being unfair on this one.
Hold on. Mike, all jokes aside. That's like me coming up here and wanting to get a 10 rating for the content that according to hip hop creates when actually you're the main creator of all the content. I participate in the content in terms of some behind the scenes contributions that you may ask for, top 5s in this show. But the creator of the content is you. So if we were rating us in this, you would get a 10 for content. I would get like an 8 or a 9. And that is what is about to happen to this motherfucker.
But if you were to take that content and take it somewhere else on a whole nother creative level, you got to get props for that. I mean,
no. My content here is a 10, but the contribution of it, because a lot of it is a spinoff of your ideas, and sometimes it's my ideas. Sometimes it's connected to other people. Sometimes it's connected to something we're trying to do, like with this list. No.
Well, let me ask you this: Is the Love Below just not in the conversation?
Is he rapping on there?
He rapped on there 3 times.
Rap, right?
He rapped on there 3 times.
How many verses do you have on there? How many verses are on there?
He has 3 rap verses on there.
Okay, so he has a rap song worth of lyrics on there. That's great. Next.
The punishment.
No, the honesty. Like, I'm so sorry.
Intangibles is a 10.
Intangibles is a 10.
Hook game is a 9.
I gave him 8.
I think his hook game is pretty strong.
I can give you 9. I can say 9 on the hook game. I can see that. His hook game is really strong.
Versatility, I gave him a 10.
I gave him an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is
We
his
don't
versatility get 8?
Because part of versatility is the ability to write different types of songs. So let's go back to, I don't know, Rakim, somebody who can write something like Lyrics of Fury, but still write something like Mahogany. You get what I'm saying? We don't know if he has that type of versatility as an MC to make like a classic record for women, but make a classic street lyrical record as well. We do not know if he can do that on a solo mission.
Well, we don't know if he can do anything on a solo mission, but what I will say for what Outkast has done in their career, anybody that's able to get on a Get Up, Get Out, and then get on a Bombs Over Bad Dad, and get on a Benz or a Beamer or Extraterrestrial from ATLians, right, they got some versatility.
Can you ride the bicycle by yourself, though?
You're killing him with this, man. I think there's only a few categories that we can kill him on for not being solo. I don't think versatility is one of them.
How do you know how versatile he is on the mic?
Now, this one thing I will say. Now, if your argument was the type of production from like hip hop peers, whether it be like Ninth Wonder, Kanye, or Dr. Dre, or DJ Quick, or Premier, we've never heard him on those kind of tracks, I can get with that. If we want to knock his versatility on that, but as far as the versatility for their catalog, that's hard to argue.
No. The versatility for what he's shown. This is the problem with him. We keep having to confine him to their catalog.
It's very difficult.
We don't have to do this with anybody else.
Nobody.
You understand that?
Yeah, everybody else has solo material.
Hold on. We don't have to do this with Eminem, Mike.
Yeah. No, you're
right. We don't have to do this. Hold on. We don't have to do this with artists who are no longer living and no longer here. This is absurd.
What did you give him again?
For versatility, I gave him an 8.
All right.
Because hold on. Because also too, Mike, you just said it yourself. You think the Tribe records age better than the Outkast records?
I do.
How you giving him a 10 for versatility? We don't know if he can do solo rap songs. The music didn't age as well in your estimation.
That's fair.
I'll meet you in the middle. We'll say 9.
That's generous of you. But I see what you're saying, though. I mean, because again, he has issues that won't apply to anybody else, and it makes it very difficult.
And I say all this to say, you understand how ridiculously high he's about to score, even with all these drawbacks. Which is why when people talk about him, though, I get why they talk about him. You're talking about the person that should probably be the greatest MC of all time. But guess
in a vacuum.
Yeah, in a vacuum. Yeah, kind of like I always tell people, if you're walking out onto a football field and you're the quarterback and you see Jerry Rice and Randy Moss standing next to each other and you pick Jerry Rice, that's fine. I'm about to whoop your ass that day. I'm about to smoke you. I'm throwing that ball to Randy about 10 times. He's going to catch about 3 of those and put 21 points on y'all just off that. We don't know if Jerry's going to do that. Randy going to do that. Because the talent is there. You get what I'm saying? And that's who he is, kind of. Except for, like, he's worse than Randy ever was or could imagine.
It's hard to compare him to anybody.
Because Randy Black Ass would show up on Sunday and play some football and catch some touchdowns. Yeah, he would. He'd show up on Sunday. He might party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, say F you, not show up for practice. He might not try hard.
They killing you in the chat right now, man. I thought it was going to be me this episode.
No.
And you know what? It's crazy because... about a year and a half ago, I was the one dumping down on Andrè. I've calmed down.
What you say? I don't care what you say. I'm gonna say this again for everybody coming down on me. Show me these solo rap songs. And show me that you know what you're talking about.
He is the only MC that we consider. If you keep
bringing up Outkast songs, I'm gonna keep on like doing this shit and showing you. Well, those aren't his records now, are they?
He's the only MC that we consider top tier that does not have a single song in his 27-year career with 3 verses with just him by himself. It's just the truth.
Hey, let me ask you something too. For as great as Outkast is Outkast the author of one of the 50 greatest rap songs of all time?
I think.
And if so, which song would it be? Because I guarantee you, any song that you're going to name, Big Boy's probably the author of. Do you see where I'm going?
I think that their greatest record is 2 of them, right? that would be in that conversation. If one would want to put Bonds Over Bad Dad in that conversation, I'm okay with that. And Elevators would be another one.
Mm-hmm. It's Elevators, probably. How that hook go again?
That sounds more Big Boy influence, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
It is Big Boy on the hook. It's him and Sleepy Brown.
Yeah, yeah. Guess what? Because every day I sit while my nigga be in school thinking about the second album at the dungeon shooting pool. Big Boy was coming up with the concepts for most of those records. He's letting you know on ATLians.
Y'all think that Miss Jackson's a top 50 hip hop record? I don't think so. But you know, maybe that's just me. That was one of the few.
So Clean is better than Miss Jackson. How y'all gonna say that? I was actually gonna go with Elevators or So Fresh, So Clean. But both of those are Big Boy records, really. That Andrè
So Fresh, So Clean is not a top 50 all time, and I love that record.
That's what I'm saying. I would say Elevators.
People say, what about Rosa Parks? And you know, I saw Rosa Parks on one of those lists. But my thing about Rosa Parks is it's not even one of my 10 favorite songs on that album.
But it is one of their bigger singles. But once again, go listen to that hook. Who started that song off? Because that's how you can sometimes tell.
Hook-wise, that's Big Boy, yeah.
Oh, we keep finding that out about all their biggest hits, don't they? But one guy keeps getting all the credit. One guy apparently is coming up with the concepts, the hooks, and rapping his ass off as well. But we keep giving all the other guy all the high marks about everything.
Interesting. Let's move on because we got a few things to get to.